Welcome back to the World Go channel. I'm your host and self-appointed Go evangelist, James Story. Today's lesson is 5.6.2b. It's in the fighting series. We're going to look at the horse's head shape again, and this time when black wedges in between two stones. So let's get started here. So white has 3 points where they might try to separate one or more of these black stones. One is this move, which we looked at in a previous video. This move, which we will look at in a subsequent video, and today we're going to look at this wedge right here. Notice that black can Atari this side or on this side, can't they? That's one way they can handle it. Also notice that if this is way down on the second line, if these two stones are down on the second line, it rarely occurs, but it might. Black can simply Atari and capture these stones at the edge of the board, because once you're in Atari from the second line from the edge of the board, you can't escape. If you move this up to the third line, now when white wedges, black can play here. White would extend down, and black can block here or here. If white has stones over here, somewhere black would probably want to block that way, and if white has stones over here, black would probably want to block that way. But we'll just block here. White goes out. Black cannot hane yet because of the Atari, and then another Atari, and they'll capture this stone and get out. So black can't hane yet. They have to extend one more, and now when white comes out, they can hane. If white cuts here, black doesn't want to push white up, because when white extends out, now white has an Atari and capture here, and Atari and capture here. Instead, what black wants to do is just calmly extend out here. Notice that these 3 stones, or these 4 stones, only have 3 liberties. This group has 4, and this group has 4. So black can capture these 3 stones whenever they want. They can come back and pick them up. But also notice that black doesn't have to hane here. They can extend out, and they can continue extending out until white gets 6 stones. And once they get 6 stones, then black needs to hane. Even if white comes down and puts one of the feet down, this isn't enough to make life for white, because they end up with a straight 3, but it's black's turn, and they jump on the vital point. Now, these are a lot of stones played kind of in a vacuum. There's probably already going to be something over here on this side of the board, isn't there? But it just goes to show you that black doesn't have to hane right away. They can just keep extending out and gaining influence. If you bring this up to the 4th line, now when black plays here and white extends out, now they can't capture these stones. Black cannot capture the white stones. However, what they want to do is get a little bit more push here. So if black wants to make sure that they connect these 2 stones, they're going to come back and play this move. If they want to make sure that they connect these 2 stones, they want to come back and play this move. So notice they're connecting all these 4 stones with 2 tiger's mouths. But first they want to interpose a move, and they want to decide which of these do they want to play here or here, and whichever one they want to play, black plays the opposite down here first, because now they threaten white with a ladder, don't they? As long as white doesn't have a ladder breaker, black will be okay. So if black wants to make sure they maintain this relationship, first they push white this way to get a little bit more strength for these stones. Then they come back and connect their stones with the tiger's mouth, and then white can cut here. Now, once again, black, when we started this little battle, black had 3 stones already in the area. So white is, white needs help from stones around the sides to help it maintain this this cut, and to try to cut this off. Okay, black has a couple options here. One is they can simply push white up like this, and then come back and protect their cutting point with a tiger's mouth or with something else. They could do a solid connection, but usually they expand out to this move or this move. Notice that black can't capture these stones in a net, because white will play here first, and when black blocks, white will simply Atari again, and Atari again, and escape. Notice that white can still play out another move here, or they should, and this is not a ladder for black, because white has this liberty back here too. So white can do a couple things. They can just simply Atari this side, and then Atari here, and then come back and connect here, and now they have 1, 2, 3, 4 liberties, and their group is pretty much going to get out. The question is can, when white cuts this stone off from the other stones, can they capture this stone? And notice they really need some help here in the area, because look how strong black has become by this little battle here. So they better have some stones off here in the area to help them out before they consider trying to wedge in between here and cut these stones apart and capture one of these stones. Another move that black can try when white wedges is, instead of Atarying this side, they can Atari underneath here. And now when white comes up, notice they don't have, if in the dog's head shape, black was lucky because they could Atari this way and capturing a ladder, or Atari this way and capturing a ladder. So white had to have both of these ladders working for white. But in the horse's head, notice this is just a little farther away, and either this move or this move does not create a ladder situation immediately. It does threaten the ladder. Black's next move would be here and catch white in a ladder. So if this ladder did not work for white, then black would play here. Or if this ladder didn't work for white, then black could play here. If neither ladder works for white, black can play either one. And now white has a couple options here. One is if they immediately cut, black can play up with a ladder. And when white extends, up with Atari. And when white extends out, now black can ladder the stones this way or this way. So you can see white really needs some helping stones in the area or in the distance, some ladder breakers to make this happen. Also, back in this situation, white can just simply play this move here and get out. And now black has to decide what's the most important stones to reconnect. If they want to reconnect these two, then they want to play this move here. If they want to make sure they maintain the relationship between these two stones, then they probably need to look at protecting one of those cutting points, maybe even with just a solid connection, or maybe down here, so that when white plays there, black can push them, down to the edge of the board and run them out of liberties. Now this is still close to the edge of the board. Out in the middle, this cut might be able, might be able to maintain this cut a lot easier. So that's just kind of an overview of the horse's head shape when white wedges in there and tries to disconnect these two stones. If white's trying to disconnect these two stones and plays anything else, black just connects, don't they? So they really have to, if they want to try to connect these two stones, this is the move that they play. Once again, if you like what you're seeing, please give me the thumbs up. Also, consider subscribing. You can contact us at worldgochannel@gmail.com. Give us some feedback. Tell us what you like, what you don't like, what you want to see. Also, we have playlists. I suggest lessons in logical sequence. Some lessons are built upon previous lessons, so to view them in the logical sequence, I think, is the most helpful. But we also have Life and Death of Small Groups, Joseki's Fighting. And if you want to look at the lessons in chronological sequence, go to Lessons in Logical Sequence. They have all the lessons, and then just sort them in chronological order. Once again, thanks for watching the World Go channel. We'll see you next time.